So today we are going to talk about what it truly means to connect with our higher selves, embrace strength, live it with intention, and inspiring others through how we show up every day. So please help me welcome Mrs. Evelyn Wever Croes, our one and only female former Prime Minister of Aruba. And we have also, thank you. And we have also Mrs. Xina Tromp, commercial banking expert, and who is successfully making her mark in real estate. So welcome, ladies. I'm so excited today for this first, interview, conversation, topic. Connected with our higher selves is a very interesting topic in every sense. But if I may start with Mrs. Evelyn, or Evelyn, yes, let's do Evelyn. Take us back. Your role as former Prime Minister. We are not going to talk about politics. No, we are not going to do that. Just to make sure. But it was a huge role. And take us back. When did you first recognize your higher self, and what did that mean to you at that time?
Well, good morning. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity, for the invitation. It's a great honor to be sharing this morning with this panel and in this room. I was not aware of connection with my inner self when I was younger. Obviously not the age that my daughter has. Back then, it was all about achievements, satisfying others, despite of yourself. So when I really realized that I had to connect with my inner self, was not even about me. It was when I assumed leadership positions before entering politics. Because it was then that I realized that it is not about a position, it is about the people that you serve. And the decisions that you make every day are for the benefit of the people that you serve, your employees. Back then I worked at the tax department, so it was the government, the community as a whole. So it was then that I realized that it was not about position, the victory, the things like that. It was more about realizing what you're doing, why you're doing it, and especially stay grounded. I'm very happy I realized that at the beginning of my career, because if you are not aligned with yourself, if you are not in connection with your inner self, your higher self, you will make decisions, and you will always make decisions that some are good, some are not good. But if you're not connected, you're guaranteed to be taking decisions from another place, another starting position. So stay grounded. Know what are your values. At the end of the day, if you've had a good day or if you've had a bad day, the only thing that mattered for me throughout my career was looking myself in the mirror at night and asking myself, were the decisions or was the decision in line with my values, with integrity, with what I stand for? So it's very important to be aligned from the beginning to avoid making decisions that you later would think, I could have made another decision.
Yeah, definitely. And Xina, tell me.
Oh my goodness, that was so good. Well, I haven't held positions as high. You had a top position, and I'm very proud that you were the first woman to be Prime Minister of Aruba. Well, in my case, I think that in a case a little bit similar at the beginning, I was always like a good girl. I went to school, I passed my classes, I graduated, went to the States, went to the university. I always did my best, and I always I feel I treated everybody nicely. And then I started working and progressing and becoming a senior manager in a job. And I reported bullying and sexual harassment of my boss. And I was offered protection. And then I was left unprotected. And so that betrayal, always being the good girl, not having done anything wrong, and getting people to lie about you, people, who should not, people in high positions. And that deeply hurt me. It boom, it hurt me very much. And however, that was the point that I started to realize that I cannot choose what others do to you. I can only choose to make the decisions that are good for myself. And so after that depression, I started to looking at solutions to help myself. And meditation, books, I did everything that I can to lift myself back up. Because I'm a mom. I am a grandma too. And I have children that watch you. They watch me. And sorry, get a little emotional.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes. I've been told I am too emotional, and I am a human being.
Emotional is good.
I love emotions. And anyway, so that is what brought me to my inner self, and doing, as Claudine said, be in self-awareness and taking steps based on intuition. So I love what you mentioned just a few minutes ago. I love it. Thank you. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us. But indeed, you are totally right. I believe that sometimes we have to, as a person, we are busy every single day. In fact, we generate about 60,000 thoughts a day. So we are very busy. There is no time, there is no space in our mind to create other new things. So Xina, thank you for sharing that. I really felt it, so thank you for that. And connecting with your higher self is at the moment that you are aware of who am I, what am I doing, what is the intention for me to be here. And as soon as you ask yourself, in my case, those questions, then you will go deeper in yourself, and then you will see people differently. You don't see the people, you see their soul. You see really who they really are. And at that stage, I'm now, right now. So thank you, ladies, for that deep, how can I say this? But what you share with us. Thank you so much. All right, so we go to the next question. Can you share a moment or experience that shifted your perspective and help you see yourself differently?
Oh, me first. Oh my goodness. Well, imagine yourself. You have a university degree. You have 27 years of experience escalating the career ladder. And then you get yourself in that situation and you are at the crossroads. What are you going to do? And so that was the moment when I changed my perspective, and I said, I do not want to work for people anymore. Period. That was that moment.
Tremendo. My perspectives have been changing whether I like it or not. I think that assuming the position of Prime Minister of a country changed my perspective. Again, it was not it was important to realize it is not about a position, about a victory, about an appointment, or about starting new things. It was more about why am I chosen to do this at that certain moment in time. And my colleague Xiomara is here, and we've been through some very interesting and difficult times. And constantly, the question was, why us? Why me? At this moment, I would have liked to be Prime Minister of a country that didn't have COVID to deal with. I mean, you know, that would have been much nicer, perhaps. But I guess that when you're aligned and when you know that the answers are not the obvious ones, you look inside yourself. And there were a lot of moments that we had to rely on our values, our why are we doing this, because it's not about popularity, it's not a popularity contest. And we had to make a lot of unpopular decisions, difficult decisions. But as long as you know why you're doing it and what you want to achieve, you will do it. And even though it was a very difficult day, and we've had those, at the end of the day, you look back and you say, I was not chosen to be here to be popular. I was not chosen to be here to do nice things. I guess I was chosen to be here to make the difficult decisions that had to be made. And to look back, I mean, now at all the decisions, they were difficult, but the results were great, were what Aruba needed at that moment. So, and there were more. I mean, making decisions or being Prime Minister during a COVID period that shift all perspectives. I mean, suddenly you were not a person anymore. You didn't count anymore. You were not relevant anymore. And during COVID, if I may, just another minute, during COVID, we had a lot of good professionals in Aruba guiding us, advising us. They gave us technical advice. But during those times, we had not only to rely on the technical advice, we needed to rely on our own inner strengths, the calmness and leadership, the values, again, why are you doing it? And how to communicate it to the people in a more empathic way so that everybody could understand or try to understand what we had to do in order to get the country back on rails. So perspectives have shifted.
Definitely. Wow. Well, I believe that, let's say the universe, it always makes tricks with you, in a sense of sometimes when you get too comfortable in whatever position you are, you don't see the bigger picture, but you see it when you are being shaken up. Sometimes you are just like without any warning, you're being shaken up. And when you shake up, then you realize, okay, I have to go internally. I have to go and see what is really this for me. You don't see it at that moment, but now you see it. Now you see the beauty of that moment that happened, and you learn from it, and you become stronger and more lucid. You see things that you never saw before. So, I mean, for me, challenges are now not obstacle. They're like an invitation to grow and be every day stronger and bolder than before. Yes. So, what challenges along your journey shapes the person you are today, and how did they guide your growth?
Okay. Who read The Alchemist? I am Santiago. Santiago went in search of a treasure because he had a dream that he was going to find a treasure. And he traveled to many places to find that treasure. And the treasure was that he was finding himself. And that's what I did. Read books, did all the work necessary, studied. You can say basically I ate books after that period. Because I didn't want to work for people. I had nothing else to do. Learn. Toastmasters, books, creative writing courses, economic department courses, and to find myself. And just like Claudine said, follow your intuition. I learned that very, very well, to follow my intuition. And in one of the speeches at Toastmasters, I even made like a few steps with cartons, because I'm creative too. I can paint too and stuff like that. And I made them from cartons. And then when I gave that speech and I stood up and I threw the steps on the floor, and I said, I took step 1 and step 2 and step 3. Every single time, if I see a book that attracts me, I read it. If I see a course that intrigues me, I take it. And I believe that that's what you have to do in life, to be yourself and take the road to finding who your true self is.
Thank you, Xina. She's well prepared. I obviously didn't have a lot of time to read books, but I'll take it up. Now I have more time. I think that there were a lot of challenges during my tenure as Prime Minister. One of the challenges that I think that shaped us a lot was the relation with the Netherlands. Because here in Aruba, we know each other, we know the culture, but when you deal with people from other countries, with other values, other culture, it took a while to get used to their way of thinking, their way of judging and judging us, and trying to understand why the relationship was not always that easy. But to be very honest, every challenge made me more resilient. I mean, it's just a challenge. Like you said, it's like an invitation to grow. And there were times that I was so frustrated, to the point of crying, and a colleague came in and found me crying, and but that made me more resilient. And sometimes we have to cry, get it out of our system, and then it's out, and then you continue. And as long as you know that, don't take anything personally. Those are things that need to happen in order to achieve greatness, greater achievements that we need to achieve.
Yes, totally. All right. Yes, what you guys just mentioned, very important. And again, we can talk about this the whole day, but the most important thing is to, when you're busy, go in and you will find the answer, right? You will find the answer to everything. Just go in silence, and you will see things that you will like, okay, why didn't I did that before? Go inside. So ladies, next question. I hope they're not too strong. They're okay? Yeah. Okay, how has self-awareness influenced your life, both personally and in your career? Self-awareness, that's the key.
That is what I refer to, that at the beginning of my career, I was not aware of what were my strengths and my weaknesses. And if you do not know that, you will be triggered by anything that happens. Yes. So it's very important to be aligned, to know where you stand and your strengths, to celebrate them, the weaknesses, to work on them. But it's very important to know them, and that is self-awareness, to know what is important for you, why you do what you do every day, and to find yourself. And what you just mentioned, go inside yourself and listen to yourself. And that is not easy. And sometimes you just sit in silence and it becomes the loudest that you've ever been, because everything, starts to come by. What I do in order to find some calmness and tranquility is walk in nature. While sometimes the company is too good to be silent, you just talk, and that is okay. But nature, and what I've taken up since the pandemic is art. Although I'm a hobbyist, so I'm not an artist, I'm a hobbyist. But to be very honest, the moment that I take the pencils, the paint in my hand, I put my phone down. And that is something that I have not been able to do unless I was taking a shower or asleep. Otherwise, I always have the phone in my hand and pending for what is happening, because you have to be pending. I mean, the Prime Minister of the country. So, and art has helped me put down the phone and be disconnected with the world. And that is when I find myself and find the inner voice talking to me. And I'll write a book one day about the inspirations that I got in those moments.
Amazing.
So, wow. Amazing. You have 75 ladies here that will purchase your book. So just mention, you have to write it now. Okay. So Xina, tell us.
I love painting too.
I cannot paint.
Self-awareness. Do you all remember the first day you were behind the steering wheel of a car? And then they say, okay, you have to press the gas and the brake with the same foot. And then you have to look at the rear view mirror, and you have to constantly look at the side mirrors too. It's really difficult to have self-awareness. It's like that. You have to remember constantly to be watching all the mirrors in your head. And when you say self-awareness, the other thing that brings me, as an analogy is when we go to see houses in real estate, we always put the GPS in on the phone and in the car. And but sometimes we take a different road because the Department of Public Works closed that road, and you have to take another route. And self-awareness is the same as the GPS because it takes another road, leading you to think about what you're thinking about. And that is very complicated, right?
The 60,000 right thoughts that I mentioned.
Redirecting your brain. I mean, the constant chatter in the brain. My brain talks a lot. 60,000.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot. And I think that that is that word itself is what gurus have always tried to conquer. Because once you conquer the self-awareness, you've conquered yourself, and you will be able to be in the calmness of painting and be in the calmness of walking in nature. And I'm still like a kindergarten student in that, but I'm trying very hard every day.
Yeah, that is definitely hard to be in silence. I can relate with that, but what helps me is training. Practice make you perfect, right? And it's a fact. So training, meditation, nature, self-reflection as well is very important. But the most important thing is that you start. And then you see how it goes, and trust me, you will love it to be in that silence. So how do you take what you've learned about yourself and turn it into intentional actions every day? For me, it comes down to intention.
Intention. I think, and I go back to the values. Why were you chosen to do something? But that has to be manifested into the decisions and the steps that you take. So if I'll give an example. finances, not a sexy topic. But you will not be popular because of the decisions that you make on public finance, but they had to be taken. The decisions had to be made. And at that moment, it was, again, not about popularity. It was more about why are you doing this and what are your values. So sometimes in life, we have to make difficult decisions. But if it is what you have to do, if it is what your inner self says, dictates, then you do it and you try to explain. So for me, the most important thing is to have this manifested in the decisions that you make, so it is visible for others. And again, it's not easy. It will never be only about easy and beautiful stuff. That is not what life is about. But as long as at the end of the day, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, what we've done, that was a good decision. It had to be made. And of course, we'll deal with the consequences.
Intention. I think intention is very similar to intuition. And I have a funny story to tell you about intention and intuition. I didn't know what to do after reading all those books and all of that. And so I had a childhood friend of my daughter who said, hey, if you're looking for something to do, there is a team called Bold Properties that only has women in it. You will feel safe and nice in that team.
I remember that day. Continue.
And previously, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I had a dream that I was walking up a staircase. And then after that, a friend of my daughter told me that, I immediately went to the office of Bold Properties. I didn't know Bold Properties was on the second floor. And I started stepping up the stairs and I shouted, I am making a bold move.
Just out of nowhere, this lady came and I was like, okay, Eileen, what are we gonna do?
I didn't know any of them
And she never left.
except Josie. And I said, if Josie is in that team, it must be a good team.
Okay, that's a good way to say it. Okay.
And they accepted me in this team, and I love it. And so that is intention and intuition, the story I wanted to convey.
Super. Oh my goodness, that story. See, she definitely came to the office and she shouted, I'm making a bold move.
How was your face? And
I was like, yeah, I like this person. Very bold. All right. Wait. This is getting very exciting. So, how are we with the time? All right. In what way do you mentor, support, or inspire other women to connect with their own higher selves? That's more community, more. What do you do to inspire others?
Okay, well, I'm 62 years old, and I feel I have a lot of experience to share. And for some reason, young individuals, young students, they come to me and they want to know what I think about this or that. And so my husband and I, we are a little bit like yin yang in a way. We think differently, but together we have a lot of synergy. And I've mentored a young girl by myself through video call. She's from South Africa, and she was living in the Netherlands, and her mother left her.
And she was a super, super smart girl. And her last name was Campbell. And one of the first things I told her is that, have you read the book by Joseph Campbell?
Books again.
And then, yes, so she read the book. Can you believe that? Everybody that you tell something that you tell, okay, do this, they do it. But she did it. And I kept mentoring her during a long period. And then when people want to get a job and they have a job interview, or when they want a promotion, for some reason they hear about us. And I am an observer, so I've been observing all of you in here. And I observe what people do and what people say and how they react to things. And then when they ask us to help them, young ladies and also young men, we have questions, and my husband asks the strategic questions, and I ask the personal questions. And sometimes they don't know the answer, and I do, because I've been observing. And it brings me great joy to say that all of them whom we have mentored have either gotten the job or got a promotion. And it is with great pleasure that I do that. It gives me a lot of fulfillment.
Super, super great. I've made it a commitment that when the elevator comes up to get me down from where I am in politics, in profession. So I'm reaching the top. I reached it. I'll reach it again. But when the elevator comes down, when the elevator is taking me down back, I make sure that when the elevator door opens, that there is a line of people waiting to ascend that elevator, and there will be a lot of women in line prepared to assume all the positions. If we are not deliberate about this, it will not happen, because life happens. Too many women have a lot of challenges to deal with, and they are not thinking about leadership positions and things like that. And if we are not deliberate, if we do not support them, then they will not do it. We've done some projects mentoring girls. I mean, a setting as this, I hope to inspire you. I am inspired already by Xina here. I am inspired by Claudine. I'm inspired by the Bold ladies since the beginning of Bold Properties. I'm inspired by a lot of you every day. So, and that is something that we do. We're open to this. Men don't have these settings, and that's a pity. They should to be inspired by one another. One thing that I'm very focused on is try to inspire young girls. And we've had projects. We've done some projects, because what do we know? We know that the children that went to school this morning, half of them will be working in jobs that do not exist today. So how do we prepare them for those jobs? How? Well, one thing that we know is that STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, those will be prominent in the new jobs. And we know that not all girls like those things. So we have had some projects. One of them was STEM the Gap. So the gap between boys and girls, with STEM projects where we only invite girls, and we make them acquainted with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, robotics, coding, and things like that. And the boys would be a little bit jealous. That I understand that, but focus on the girls. If we know that will be something that they have to have more interest in, help them do that. Those were projects that, wow, I loved. I really loved. But to be very honest, the inspiration in others is very important. I have 2 daughters, and I have now a granddaughter of 3 months. But to watch my daughter this morning for the first time speaking in public, the way that she did, I was emotional. I think that was my 360 circle. So I must have done something right. Otra cosa que último.
You should be very proud. Very, very proud. All right. No, I mean, the most powerful thing we can do as women is to support each other. Very easy. As soon as you know how powerful we are, and I say it again, powerful, because I mean, we create babies. Hello, that's the biggest thing ever. As soon as you recognize the powerful within you, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Nothing, literally. And I think we are off of time, so I will just wrap it up with the following. Just bear with me. Don't look at me like that, please. Okay, and that is a closing sentence, a closing statement. And it starts with, I am one. So Xina, you start. I am one, and fill in the blanks for me, please. I am one because...
I am one because I am one human being in one world. I am one because we have to be one team to help this earth become a peaceful earth. I am one because I am loved, and I want that all of us feel that we are loved as one. Bold is one. We are one group of women. We collaborate, help each other, and occasionally I cry too. But we are all one, and as one, we can help each other grow into a better person, and a better person becomes a better group, and a better group a better country, and then a better world. Let's hope that in these days that this world is going through some chaos, that with that being as one, we can help shift the mentality of people in this world.
Thank you so much, Xina. Thank you.
So the closing statement should be, I am one because, right? I think that I would say, I am one because of you. Because of everybody in my life that I know, that I don't know, or I don't know yet. For everything that everybody brings to my life or to the table. For the support. For the criticism, because you grow from criticism. Again, not take anything personally. For the joy and the love, and especially to be here this morning. Thank you so much.
And my message to you all is the following. Your higher self is not somewhere far away. It is already within you. It is the voice that reminds you of your strength, your purpose, and your ability to grow. When we choose courage over fear and authenticity over expectations, we rise, not just individually, but together. Thank you so much for listening.